I really like AEW Dark. I'm just going to throw it out there as we start this video. It's just like a nice 1 hour show featuring a bunch of wrestlers that you know and a bunch of wrestlers you don't know. And All Elite Wrestling does a great job of introducing those wrestlers you don't know. Like I say, it's free on YouTube. And given that you are watching this on YouTube, you should know that I absolutely love YouTube. 2 thumbs up for YouTube, other than all the nonsense that comes along with it. But my name is Simon Miller. You are indeed watching WhatCulture Wrestling, and I have watched AEW Dark, so you don't have to. Or on the flip side, you have watched AEW Dark, and now you want to see what this bald asshole thinks. Let's up those downs. Has joined Excalibur on this week's show, and it just made me really happy inside. I haven't heard the Human Suplex Machine, or whatever the hell he was called, do commentary in years, and as you probably know by now, I am a sucker for nostalgia. It transports me back to when I was a kid, and everybody likes being a kid. You don't have any problems, and you ain't thinking about the spectre of death. So Taz, it was lovely to see ya, or hear ya. You, my friend, can have it up. We kicked things off with Joey Janela versus Brandon Cutler, and I just thought that was really smart because, look, let's not pretend otherwise. No, this was nowhere near as good as Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela from the previous week, but it did allow you to go, hey, look at this guy called Joey. He's not just a one-man band, especially because, you know, that is Heath Slater's gimmick. Give it up. What I mean by that too is that nothing that crazy happened here. Joey Janela was showing off some of his holds, some of his moves, showing that he could be a wrestler. And yeah, that's never going to be what gets him over, but in a wrestling world where everybody just wants to shib on your face, it was nice to see, and a little bit of a wink and a nod to anyone that has said he can't do this stuff. We also used this platform to try and get more steam and more momentum from Brandon Cutler, especially because this was pitched as neither of these guys have an official win in All Elite Wrestling, so whoever wins here can tick one in the victory column. My favourite bit was when Janela ran round the ring and used up his stamina bar before smacking Cutler with a forearm off the stairs, and even though Brandon did get a little bit of offense in, Janela eventually cut him off, hit him with the brainbuster, and got the 1, 2, 3. Also, as a little side note, it's been announced that we are getting Janela versus Omega 2 on Dynamite, so what the hell are they going to do in that? It's like when you go and see a sequel in the movies. The second one has to be better than the first one, otherwise everyone goes, oh, now you ruined the first one because the second one is no good, even though you can still enjoy the first one as much as you already did. My word, we may actually see someone just break in the middle of a wrestling ring. We also had another one of those Cody Rhodes led video packages, and as I'm starting to realise, these exist to get people over that you may not be familiar with. This week we're doing QT Marshall, who is returning to the ring after being injured, and it worked very well. And this is because you do already have an already proven star holding everything together, and you're just hearing really interesting tales from a new face. I mean, here QT Marshall didn't hold back at all, and he said when he got hired by the Ring of Honor crew, nobody really welcomed him backstage, and he felt like a bit of an outlaw, which is why he left, and he thought about giving up wrestling altogether after he got injured. But what is he about to do on next week's show? He is going to make his return, as I've already said, and that is just a nice, inspiring story. And right now, do I care more about QT Marshall than I did 5 minutes ago? I absolutely did. This thing is working wonders. Peter Avalon was then back on Dark afterwards, shushing us and just running down the local town. But that mother flapper even went after Rocky, and nobody goes after Rocky. It was also setting up Nyla Rose versus Leva Bates, with Nyla going for her first official win. I don't know, like, it wasn't too bad, it was okay, but it just didn't really seem to flow or ever really start to get going. Down. There were some highlights in the sense at one point Peter was distracting the referee by showing him a passage in his book that he absolutely had to read, and yes, I laugh every time a book is thrown at anybody. It's just so ridiculous. Who throws a book? This kind of just missed its mark though, and while Bates did her best to roll Nyla up, obviously that was never going to happen because Leva Bates is really small and Nyla Rose is not small. Eventually Rose threw Bates into Peter, which was actually quite a cool spot, and then when she turned around she got powerbombed. And yes, Nyla gets her first win in AEW, and I don't think anybody doubted that. But to be honest, it just wasn't as smooth as other matches we have seen on AEW Dark so far. And I think that's okay. Again, we should kind of use this show as a way to get people more experience. We just happen to be doing that by letting fans watch. It's a brand new world, 2019, and we've got to accept these things and see where we end up. We had a bunch of promos and interviews after this, and some of them were so good, I don't understand why we don't put these on Dynamite. Like, it's a treat to have them on Dark, but putting them on your main show, they would do really well. Like, we had SCU, and they're really pissed off at the Lucha Brothers for what they did to Christopher Daniels, and they still don't know the extent of Christopher Daniels' injuries. And we had a damn decent promo with Pac, who is now really pissed off at Jon Moxley. There's a lot of pissing going on here. We also had a video showing us why Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle are so great, or at least that is what they would have you believe. And I tell you, if you put these on Wednesday nights, it would have been a great little tool to introduce characters to an audience that may have used to a light wrestling, have come back because of All Elite, but need some information, they need some details. Just a small little point. Our final match of the evening saw Cody and Dustin Rhodes teaming with the Young Bucks to take on CIMA, Private Party and T-Hawk, who unfortunately, as I found out, is not from the Street Fighter roster, but still, this was just entertainment personified. Give it up. It made me chuckle straight away because after Cody had been beaten up a little bit, he rolled out and he got a kiss from Brandy Rhodes. MJF also happened to be on the outside, and at one point Cody leaned in and MJF was like, "No, I'm not going to kiss you." That was funny stuff. That was the whole idea of this too. Nobody here was going after a 5-star classic in the Tokyo Dome, and they just wanted to muck around, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you have been to a house show, you've been to a live show, and you've seen the dark matches, you know that wrestlers are inclined to have more fun during this. So while, again, it breaks the whole point of that because now we can watch it, I don't care. I want to be able to see it. Again, it's 2019 world. Forget all of that and just appreciate that some things you see on Dark, you can forget about, and when you watch Dynamite, go, "No, I'm not going to worry about it right now. I just want to enjoy myself," and I did. I mean, we even had a diving tag from Cody when there was no point to dive. And yes, that's stupid and ridiculous, breaks the fourth wall, and I like it when the fourth wall is broken. That's right, I said it. Somebody had to say it. I'm saying it. Don't get me wrong either, we still had wrestling here because when the Young Bucks and Private Party were in there, they went approximately 688 miles per hour, and there was dives, and there was kicks, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff. At one point, it looked like Private Party were going to win until Cody broke up the pinfall. We even got a mix of these ideas because as soon as Dustin Rhodes got in there, he was giving power slams to everybody until he saw Cassidy. He was like, "Look, you've got to give me a minute. You've got to let me calm down out of breath." And he bent over and he took some breaths in. And Cassidy, like the Fool, let him do this. So when he charged, Dustin Rhodes ducked. He gave him a power slam too. It was then time for everybody to hit a dive spot because, again, this is modern day wrestling, apart from MJF, who teased that he was going to do it and then just kept running the ropes. I love that guy. He is going to be a future legend, and it also triggered a domino effect because CIMA then took out MJF and then Cody took out CIMA, which meant T-Hawk took out Cody, and so on and so forth. The Bucks and Rhodes then set all their opponents up in the corners and gave them simultaneous shattered dreams, which must have ruined all of their days before the former Goldust gave the former Reckoning to T-Hawk and got the victory for his team. It was just a fun match, and yeah, if you want to be super critical and we take all the AEW Darks as one, this was probably the third best we've seen so far. But again, let's not forget, it's free content on YouTube that you can choose to watch or choose to ignore. Once I get my spinning arrow, it's getting enough. I would implore you, if you just want to enjoy yourself on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday morning or wherever you want to watch this, just put it on the background. Get on with your day. It will put a little bit of a smile on your face. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about AEW Dark and what they should do with the show, because it will change, it will evolve through the weeks, through the months, through the years. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles, follow WhatCulture on Twitter and WhatCulture WWE, and watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon Miller. Thank you as always for watching. And yeah, I know these kind of nugget short versions of ups and downs are a bit different, but I think that just mirrors what AEW is Dark. I don't want to run that point into the ground, but as somebody that does watch a lot of wrestling, I'm honored and privileged to be able to do that, especially because I will watch wrestling so you don't have to. It just shakes things up. It makes it feel different. It makes it feel nice. The hour flies by. Like I said, I get to see wrestlers that maybe I'm not too familiar with and start putting them inside my brain. And you get to see proper main event stars like Cody and the Bucks this week doing a bit of comedy. And last week, 7 days ago, Kenny Omega trying to kill himself on what is essentially a YouTube show. That's what it is. It's a YouTube show, but he's Kenny Omega and he knows there's fans in the arena and he's not going to let them down. I mean, I already saw this morning some people going, "I can't believe we did comedy in a match featuring these guys." Look, man, it's just meant to be fun. It's just meant to be entertaining. And if you don't want to take this as read and you just want to pretend that Dynamite is the main event and nothing else matters, you can do that and ain't no one going to take away your pie. Nobody wants your pie. you to be happy. On a side note, it also means the ups and downs week keep on rocking, and make sure you do catch up, because we had ups and downs for Bound for Glory, we had ups and downs for Raw, obviously. Tomorrow we'll have ups and downs for AEW Dynamite. And on Saturday, we'll have ups and downs for SmackDown, which is a very interesting show, I will have thee know, because it ain't on Fox this week. It's been preempted and shifted to FS1 because there's baseball or something like that. And now all of the ratings crazy people are like, well, what the hell is that going to do to the number? And I'll tell you, a little spoiler, little, look behind the curtain. It's probably going to tank the rating, but that doesn't mean anything because it's not on the channel that it was meant to be. Just throwing that out now. So when you see all the arguments and all the rows and all the nonsense on social media, you can say, but my bald friend, my bald asshole pal Simon Miller said it didn't matter. And it doesn't really matter. What does are the ratings that will pop up on Thursday when it's NXT versus AEW. What's gonna happen this week?